Thanks for checking out the channel, guys. This is a video on how to do the GM Passlock bypass on Oldsmobile Alero as well as Pontiac Grand Am. What we're going to do is, this is a permanent fix using resistor. What we're going to do is take the bezel off of the radio. First, we have to take the bezel off of the... You guys can see this piece is in the way, so getting this off, you need to remove this as well. Lift up on the handbrake to clear that space. And we're going to have to go in neutral. You guys had to go in neutral to get enough room to pop this piece off. So this piece comes up first. And on this one I have this ETS switch that I need to disassemble. To remove the ETS switch, go under the bottom, pressing these two side tabs, push it up through here. And then going to simply lift up this piece here, take that off. Once you've got that off, then you feed that back through the bottom of there. If you have that switch, once you've gotten that up, I just simply twist it to the left to get it out of the way. And then you have access to this part of the bezel again, which I'm able to pop off. And I'm not going to take anything loose, I'm just going to move it over to the side, like such. And we have 3 screws, should be 1, 2, and actually there's 3 or 4 screws that need to be removed out of the radio. Once all 4 screws are removed, should be able to take the radio out. But do not disconnect the radio if you don't know the radio code. I don't know the radio code, so I am not disconnecting this radio because you'll lose the code and you have to figure out how to get the code back. So let's not do that just to be on the safe side. So I'll just pull the radio out and let it hang. And then it can be unplugged if you are changing out the radio. So the ignition switch is here, so the wire should be able to be accessed behind here, so we have to pull the radio out to get to the ignition switch wires. Guys, this is how we're looking now. We have access to the back side, to the harness to the switch, and I'll go ahead and see if I can get that for you guys on camera. You guys can see that bundle here. This is where your ignition switch wires are inside of this bundle, and when you pull them, there should be another bundle. There should be a smaller bundle with 3 wires, yellow, black, and white. So I'll try to get to that real quick. And guys, as you can see, here are those wires. Yellow, black, white. And what we're going to do is, the black wire, we're going to tap into it with a resistor, and the yellow wire we're going to cut and do nothing with the ignition side, but the other side we're going to put the other end of the resistor to that. And what we're going to do is try to get the engine to read the resistors, the resistor's new ohms as opposed to the original ohms. I could test this to see, but with the range of these and other people that have done this, it was suggested I believe like 500 to 3,000 ohms. So I just went with 1,500, somewhere in the middle, and I'm going to try that. Guys, ensure that when you're doing this that you have the battery disconnected. So I'm going to cut the yellow wire first. White wire you won't do anything to. I'm going to cut the yellow wire first. As you can see, cut the wire going to the going to the bundle, and then I just bent up the other wire coming from the ignition. This one you could just tape off, put just a piece of tape on the end so that it doesn't touch anything, but you don't have a use for that part anymore. Here the black wire has been stripped back. And we're going to put a resistor to each from twisted around the black and then the other end to the yellow. And I'll show you that. This is what a resistor looks like. This is a 1,500 watt. To find out what the, 1,500 ohms. To find out what the ohms is, you have to look at those bands on the different color bands and match them up with a chart. That'll tell you if you have something that's not exactly like this in the color sequence, then you have a different amount of ohms. So, but this is 1,500. This is how it'll look on the first part. If you guys can see, it's wrapped around, and what you'll do is solder that, and then I put heat shrink tubing on it to cover this end. What you want to do is cover these separate so that the heat shrink, give me a second. You want the tubing to come down and cover up the wires where the up to the point of the resistor in the middle, and you want to keep these black wires from touching the other side of the resistor, the wire on the other side, because then it'll negate what it's for. But heat shrink tubing, once you solder it, then you slide the heat shrink tubing over it, and then you're going to want to solder after that. You want to shrink the heat shrink tubing. At this point, we have both ends wrapped, and we're just going to solder the joints, slide the heat shrink tubing on, and then we're going to heat that up, and that should be the end of the repair. Okay guys, the repair is done. Everything's buttoned up. Only thing left is to take the other yellow wire in the back there and seal that wire up. Here I have this kit with heat shrink tubing as well as a pack of resistors, guys. And all the description, all the things that I use to do this repair really quickly and easily will be in the description for you guys, so check that out. Now to seal up that second wire, the yellow wire coming off of the ignition switch, I simply fold it over the about an inch from the end of the wire where the wire was exposed at the tip. I simply folded it over about an inch and then slid it through one of those small sleeves for the shrink wrap shrink tubing, and then I simply heated it up, sealed that up. So now that's sealed up. I won't have to worry about any shorts with either of these. So at this point, guys, the repair is finished, and everything now, it's a matter of just putting this back, pushing it back up in there. No big deal. I'll tape it together, get it in there neatly, but you just stick it back in there and you're good to go. And now it's about buttoning it up, and then we'll do a test. Okay, after we're done, everything is buttoned up. Guys, stay tuned. I'm going to be changing this radio out for them as well. But so far everything is I just buttoned everything back up. First you want to put your radio and AC bezel on. Then you want to need to have the gear shifted back, probably all the way to 1. And you want to then twist this back into place. It'll be a little hard, it'll be a little difficult. It's not very difficult, but it'll be more difficult than this piece was to get out. To get back in place. But you're going to twist it around, get it in place, and then you're going to, before you snap it in, you're going to feed if you have this ETS button, you're going to feed the connector back up through the bottom. Take your connector piece you took off, snap the plug in place, and then push that back down till it locks. After that point, you just put this back in place, pop it down, and you're set to go. And now just need to reconnect the battery so that we can do the test on the car. Okay, I just connected the battery. If all goes as planned, should be able to eliminate the security light from this 2003 Oldsmobile Alero. Should be the same for all Aleros and for Grand Ams as well. So key in the ignition and should crank, no start. Yep, we got a crank, no start. We leave the key in the on position and see the security light. It's flashing. I'm going to leave that for 10 minutes. And then we're going to come back 10 minutes. And we're going to check on the vehicle in 10 minutes. And the security light should be off. At which point we'll start the vehicle again, attempt to start it. It should crank over, and that should be the fix for this. So I'm going to set my timer 10 minutes and then I'll be back. Okay guys, 10 minutes has passed. My timer just went off. So keys in the ignition. I'm going to turn the key off. Wait 5 seconds. And then we'll crank it and see. The light should be up there. Spin a good 5-10 seconds. And let's see. There we have it. Ignition. Security lights off. And Don't mind that, that's the gas hand. But so guys, security light should be in this top corner up here, and it's permanently fixed. So this is how you eliminate the security light on the this is an Alero, Oldsmobile Alero. Should work the same for Grand Prix as well. And if all goes well, guys, I did this fix for them in a hope to be able to put a remote start on here without having any issues with the Passlock, because this Passlock would pop on, the security would pop on like once every 2 or 3 weeks, and it became a big issue. So that'll be it for this repair, guys.